Hi guys, finally time for me to make this video. It's been a while, been preoccupied with some other things, but today I got One Piece 1184, Only Bones Get Left Behind for you guys. Chapter starts off with Shuri fighting a couple of her suitors that came to trying to proposition for her hand and stuff. But she beats them up and says she only likes strong men like Brook, which Brook later on shows up and she starts to mention how she has grown and how she's more of a woman. And Brook tell her that's unladylike. And then proceeds to flirt with some other woman that was in the courtyard. You know, classic Brook maneuver. It's hilarious. Like even in the sad backstory, Brook will still be Brook and be amazing while doing it. But then he proceeds to sit down with Shuri, and they sing a song, and she says that she loves his song and his music, and then Brook tells her that her dad once told him the same thing, which then this also winds back to another backstory of Brook when he was younger. Which when he was younger, he was wanting to be a musician, but obviously he was a commoner, less than a commoner. Like apparently he didn't even know what happened to his mom and his dad. I think his mom, it's not clear on that. I think his mom and his dad probably died of starvation or something, something of the sort. But it's kind of unclear and ambiguous a little bit. I'm not sure. But we proceed on to see Brook try to peep in to some classrooms and stuff and see children practicing music and stuff. But then one of the guards come out and chase him away, and then he goes back to the trash heap, which is where I believe he was staying, just on the trash heap with a bunch of trash. And he makes his own homemade violin out of a glass bottle and some wires. Honestly, Brook was kind of a genius, you know? Hey, is Brook an engineer just like Frankie? And Usopp? Does he got some skills other skills that he can bring to the crew? Because, hey, who can just figure out that they can make a violin out of some wire and a glass bottle? Brook did, you know? It's not something that you just come up with whenever. But then the soon to be king, he's the king in the flashback that we're at before we flash back to even further. But at this point he's the Prince Leuven, you know. He pulls up to Brook, finds him singing and playing the violin, and then he asks if Brook wrote those run lyrics himself. And then they proceed to talk about how the prince is only 21, but he got an old face, so he looks old for his age and stuff. Then Brook offers him part of his supper, which is a frog and a grasshopper stew that he made, that he caught today and stuff. Which the prince reluctantly eats after thinking about all the expensive food and suitors and all the life that he's living and everything, just kind of reflecting on his life compared to this little moment with Brook, which is honestly kind of a touching moment. You're kind of like a royalty, but you enjoy a moment with somebody who's lesser than you better than the people who are supposed to be on the same level as you, or something like that, the same people that's supposed to be in your class, basically, your standard of living. But proceeding on, he eats the soup, and then I'm pretty sure this soup is disgusting, but he still eats it. He swallows it down, and then he offers to pay Brook. And then Brooke tells him, "Oh, we're both going through hard times, so like, I'm not gonna charge you. It's my treat. It's my treat today." Which, literally crazy because he's a royal who can get any food that he wants, and then this little guy Brooke literally gave him some food that he caught, grasshoppers and frogs. Like, that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But hey, that's Brooke for you. He was a very humble person and a very, yeah, besides his little perviness, like, he was a very humble person, And that's one thing I very love about Brooke. Like especially like after he gets raised by King Leuven and Prince Leuven, like how he gets his manners and stuff. He's like he's respectfully disrespectful. Like, that's what I love about Brooke. It's like an amazing combo. Respectfully disrespectful. Like, he'll come ask you kindly, "May I see your panties?" Like, that is fucking hilarious. That is just hilarious. But proceeding on, the king and Brooke proceed to have a little bit more fun, just enjoying like the day and stuff, enjoying their time together. And then we cut up to another part. It's a marine ship, marine cargo ship, which has caught Brooke and tied him up and beat him up because they thought that, like, oh, he was supposed to drop off some kind of powder, which I believe they think that, like, Brooke came for some kind of gunpowder or like something like that. But Brooke only snuck on the ship to like get some curry powder so he can cook, because he's an orphan living in a trash heap and trying to fucking survive with scraps that he makes. He just wanted some seasoning for his food. And also, is that another skill that fucking Brooke has? If Sanji's not there, can Brooke be the cook? Or is it going to be Nami? You know what? Somebody need to go to Oda and ask that question in the SBS section. Like the first one, if Sanji and Usopp can't fix something, who's the next what's the line of succession for the people that can fix something, And then same thing for the cook. If Sanji cannot cook, who's the next in line for the line of succession who's supposed to be cooked? We all know from Whole Cake, that it's not Luffy. We all know it's not Luffy. So, I know he's at the very bottom of that list, at least. But proceeding on, they continue to, beat up Brooke and, like, trying to get him to, like, give up the people that, like, I guess he's working for, but he's not working for anybody. And then the prince and his and the captain, the current commander of the Guard Corps of Experia, come in bursting in to like save Brooke and everything. So they save Brooke and beat the crap out of the marine and stuff. Even in his guard is behind him and like they're telling him to stop. They're like, this the world government, they might retaliate and everything. Which this incident might actually, now that I think about it, this incident might actually be the cause for like what happens like later on with Brooke, But then in the next panel, we see Prince Leuven come in and apologize for deceiving Brooke and stuff. That he's saying that he just enjoys spending time with him. And then we also see Candle walk in, and then we see Prince Leuven whisper to Brooke to not tell anyone that he stole that curry powder and stuff. And then we see Candle come in and it's kind of like not really flirt, but like talk about how cute Brooke was and everything. And then you see Brooke get a nosebleed just like Sanji and everything. Then Prince Leuven proceeds to say that he's gonna get Brooke like enrolled in like the music school at the palace and everything, and like he's gonna take care of him basically and make sure that like Brooke is known and Brooke is like, that he becomes a musician, that like a new star is about to be born in Xperia, and it's gonna be Brook. And honestly, like I've read like the other chapters and stuff, but like it's not like my immediate reaction, but it's just a reaction video to it. Just how I felt about it. But like honestly, this chapter was a good chapter. It was a good chapter. I'm kind of like not the biggest fan of like this kind of chapter. I kind of like the chapter with the action, just like it gets into, later on. But that's it for me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.